Shabbat Shalom. The message this week to me was an amazing one, and it's something that I have personally experienced in my life. You know, many of the religions that I allowed myself to be involved in, the religions, the Eastern religions, Western religions, New Age philosophies, most of them focus on the spiritual aspects, and that we need to almost kill the body, destroy the ego, not allow the body too much attention. And I do not believe from Torah that that's what God is teaching us, because I know the body is only here for a short time, but God created these bodies. And when we allow the spiritual within us, the spirit, the ruach within us, to connect in wonderful ways with our God, by studying his principles, by living his principles, by doing the things that he tells us to do, by being obedient to his word, then slowly the physical becomes better. It becomes healthier. He tells us that in all ways. And I don't think that we realize how our negative thoughts, our negative energy affects the physical. And this is shown to me in so many ways. I've seen it in my life, because the less negative that I've become about myself, the more I've been able to forgive myself, deal with my past, as I said, the freer. When God set us free from Egypt, the prototype, that story, Pesach, is the prototype for our history, for all the things throughout our history. And it seems so simple for me. But when we do that, we prosper, and not necessarily become rich. But remember, rich, according to our sages, when we're rich, it means that we're happy with everything that we have. And I have everything that I need, and I'm so grateful for it. And when I begin to fear, it means I'm not trusting God. When I begin to look around, oh my goodness, look at what's going on in the world. How am I going to live through this? How am I going to survive this? It means I'm not trusting God. And we have to learn step by step to trust in him. So it was fun to write this message, and I hope that I was clear in getting it across. So I have a lot of black screens that I'm speaking to, and all those people are not going to be saying much. But here's Miriam, my good friend. Miriam always has something good to say.
Here's Miriam. Here's
Yay!
Yeah, I found the message fantastic and so applicable. God is, as you say, our bodies and spirit are one, and it's so true. I've been talking to, who I've been talking to, and
Yes.
and my own family, and so much of what happens in the physical is because of what's going on inside of us, and I see it in my own life. And really, one of the hardest things for a lot of people, most people, to do who have any conscience, is to forgive themselves. And even things like depression, and a lot of that comes from self-hatred, which is really an inability to forgive yourself. And it's so important. And in my talks now with my brother, you're giving me more and more fuel to talk about it. It's so true. It's so true. It's beyond, and it's healable. It's healable. I'm not talking about people like Hitler who went beyond, they've let go of any, it's almost like the last shred of conscience has been destroyed. But I'm talking about most human beings who have, this, when we have the Spirit of God in you, even if you don't yet recognize it, there's hope. There's always hope. And it starts with ourselves. And I'm really seeing this more and more. And as I said, a lot of depression, they say, is from hatred turned inward.
Exactly.
And there are people who take it out on like the extreme. Well, the sin is murder, but there are people who, in a sense, murder themselves. I'm not talking about suicide, but, spiritual suicide. And
Exactly.
really, it's so important to start to forgive yourself in a real way, not in a fake, oh, everything's okay, in a real way, because God, we've all done horrible things, some of us more than others. And it took me so long to forgive myself, and I still wrestle with it. It's an ongoing battle, but it's so important, and we talked about even the mold in the household, you know, why would they go to the Kohen, to the priest, for mold? And obviously, there's sin in that household with whoever's in that, because mold. If you've ever had an experience with mold in any place you've lived, you don't just your mold is extremely hard to clean. So even if you, as you said, that okay, the woman cleans the house, but anybody in that household who's living there, if that's not dealt with, it could cause mold, and she could clean it 100 times. You don't just wipe it off. That's why something you have to destroy. When you see contractors now, you don't just say, well, clean it off. It has to be destroyed. They
But they
have to
didn't
leave the
they
house.
didn't go to a contractor. They went to the
No, no,
priest,
no. I know, but I'm
which is
saying
incredible. That's what,
it's incredible that
yeah,
the mold is not just, I mean, I'm just saying, I know what you meant when you said the woman maybe didn't, whatever, but whoever is abiding in that house, and if things aren't right, and even if the woman were to try and clean it, do you know how old it, let's say it were somebody else who sinned, who lived in that house, the husband could have been her too, but it's so hard to clean, you have to destroy it. So and it's not about, but they had to go to the priest because it's a spiritual sin. Anyway, it's just amazing how the body works. Even an animal who's not happy, so to speak, gets sick, physically sick. What
yeah,
does that have to do with the animal? An animal
right.
who is has negativity in its life from the owners or whatever, they start to shrivel up and get sick.
Yeah, that's why when I hear people, some people will say, well, I eat well, I take care of myself, but I'm still got so sick because we're several elements. You have to deal with all physical, emotional, spiritual, all of that works together for us. Yes, Angel.
Yes, let me share with you like a beautiful parallel, okay, about the
Oh,
story of the Kohen and okay, we
okay.
find in John 9
Okay.
about the cure of the man that was born blind.
Right.
Okay, let me just read it for you. And it's very important. I just learned that the word sin, it's from the ancient Sumerian language, okay?
Okay.
It meant like to have like a DNA degeneration or a DNA default.
Interesting.
You look at the word sickness, and you will find that it's a decline, imperfect, defective, disordered, debilitated, breakdown, collapse, and lack of well-being. So now, going back where I'm trying I will explain, and also connecting the point that you said about the hocus pocus and all this kind of looking ritual that the Kohen had to do in order for the people to understand that they had to do something, in order to get rid of that it was, that sickness or that. Okay, so look at this. There is a parallel, and says, here you go. It says, as he went along, he saw a man who had been blind from birth. His disciples asked him, Rabbi, who sinned, this man or his parents, that he should have been born blind? And Yeshua answered, neither he nor his parents sinned. Yeshua answered, he was born blind so that the works of the Creator might be revealed in him.
Mhm.
Now, as long as they last, now he's telling you like a kind of, and trying to tell everyone that he is there for a purpose, and he is there to bring the message to all Israel. Okay. Now, as long as they last, I must carry out the work of the one who sent me. Remember, as he always mentioned, I don't send myself. It's the Spirit of the Creator, the Ruach of the Creator Almighty. Send me, as they did to the prophets in old time, to speak, to retake Israel back to the path, to bring them back to the, to be in the right path.
Yes.
Now, the night will soon be here when no one can work. This is an allegory, meaning that there will not be someone with understanding to explain to you.
You went on mute, Angel. Sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay, what was I saying?
Um,
What was the last thing you hear?
You're saying that there won't be somebody to explain.
yes.
Yes. So the night will soon be here, and when no one can work. And as long as I am in the world, I am the light of the world, the one who brings the consciousness or the understanding of what is happening and what it's the thing that you need to learn in order to get out of this state of knowing and just doing things without the soul, the spirit, So now, having said this, he spat, okay, on the ground, made a paste with a spittle, and put this over the eyes of the blind man. This is, if we look at the scriptures that we just read, the Torah portion, about the Kohen doing a kind of ritual and all. Okay, but this is another thing. But now you ask yourself, okay, so why did Kohen had to do all this, and why Yeshua was trying to do that?
Mhm.
Because of the people. The spirit has no power, it has nothing in order to, it's just as to bring somehow like a, how can I say, it's in when the people are surrounded with so much beliefs, from other nations, that other things, you have to try to show something. Oh, he's doing something. Oh, he does something. He has to be powerful. He has to be,
Right.
So it was giving some sort of authority and say, look, I know what I'm doing. Let me do, and you will understand if you let me do it. Okay, no. Now, well, let's continue. So having this pit, okay, put over the eyes of the blind man, and say to him, go and wash in the pool of the Siloam. That means the one who has been sent. And this is very important, because he says that it's confirming Yeshua is saying, look, go and do that. In other words, he's telling the people that he is the one, as the Kohen was in that sent by Moshe, or by the authority, the right that he had as a Kohen,
Right.
to take care of this of Israel. Yeshua was showing to everyone that I am sent by him, the Creator, and I'm telling you, look, this is the example that if you don't see this, I'm telling you indirectly, I'm telling you what is happening. So now it says, and he went off and washed and came back able to see. Now, if you see that the water draw from the pool of Siloam,
Shiloach. Shiloach from Shalach.
yeah, Shiloh. Okay. Yeah. It was very special because it was for during the feast of the tabernacles, which means
Sukkot.
the Sukkot, okay. Sukkot, that and symbolize the blessings of the Messianic age. Okay, which henceforth the source of the blessings in Yeshua himself, which means he was showing that he was okay. Let me continue. So what in other words is saying is, I am the envoy of the Creator to you. I'm bringing you the healing. I'm bringing you the restoration, and I am the one sent. Okay, so that is beautiful. That is just beautiful. When you start connecting all these dots and you understand, oh man, yeah, it's incredible. It's just blowing.
As you were speaking, it made me think of the story of Naaman again, what we talked about last time. He had to dip 7 times, like the live bird was ducked in the blood 7 times.
Mm-hmm.
He also wanted a big display.
Mm-hmm.
Why doesn't he just wave his hand over me and say, you are healed? Why do I have to go and dunk 7 times? These same stories, the same pictures God is showing us over and over. And we are the Talmidim, the disciples of Yeshua.
Yeah.
And we are also sent. We are sent ones. We represent the God on high.
We are the envoy.
We are the envoys. Exactly.
Exactly. So, but remember, in this verse that I read, if you read the prior verse, they're accusing Yeshua of doing all these things that he's possessed. Or you are the. So that is the reason why he had to deal. It was very critical not to do something that it will be. Of course, the religious leaders would consider him. Oh, look, he's a worshiping another god, or he's a
sorcerer. He's doing magic.
Yeah. But they didn't know. No. They didn't know, because the message, the actions carry a message, right. And only those who are aware or understanding. The people who was able to see Yeshua, they saw the essence, because he was carrying all, and you were seeing it. Now, when they talk also about
but it wasn't just one thing. It wasn't a new message. He didn't bring a new book. He was always bringing us back to the Torah.
Yes, as human beings, we are made perfect at the image and likeness of the Creator. Are we connected to it? That's another thing. Are we living our lives? And
it never said we.
Responsibility,
but it never said we were made perfect. It said we were very good. We're not perfect.
If you carry the spirit of the Creator in you, which is the soul, which is connected in a multidimensional, this goes beyond your understanding of sin.
Yeah, of course, but we're still here in our bodies.
If the Creator has put on us this part, the problem is we are not evolved at the spiritual and conscious level yet. We are growing, and I mean, there are some that they did, like some prophets. They got like very, very close, and so even some they were taken, But
yes.
The point is just coming.
Their bodies were taken because they couldn't. We can't. Light cannot 100%. We can't be 100% light, and these bodies will disintegrate.
What do you mean?
We're too light. Pure light cannot live.
But then, what about just what I just read about Yeshua saying, "I am the light of the world"?
Yeah, but you can't trust everything that the New Testament says. He says we are to bring, we are to be Or L'Goyim, a light to the nations.
Yes, but what it means light? Light doesn't mean like a being that that's so pure. Because this is the problem. We have been brainwashed about the significance of righteousness. They have been twisted, those words. Righteousness is not being good. You don't ever do anything bad. No, righteousness is knowing what is right,
and choosing to do it,
doing the right, good things.
Right.
That is the right. Not because you are never do anything else. This is one.
Right.
The only thing, light, being a light to others, it doesn't mean that you have to be like perfect, like a good example, like you have to be like very, very, impeccable. No, it's bringing the understanding. What I'm doing right now, trying to explain to every one of you, it's bringing discernment, bringing not teaching in a way, but bringing, helping all of us to elevate this state of not knowing. And for that, you require knowledge and you require wisdom. And this knowledge, it's not only intellect, okay? It's not only because intellect you acquire, you can acquire intellect, but wisdom only and is an inherited of the soul, can only be learned by the spirit and the soul of each one of us. And that is what makes us elevate into another state of higher enlightenment, so that is why he said, I am the light of the world, Yeshua. I have bring to you all these messages in order that you will elevate and you will come to the level that I am, which means I am, because this is very important. Look, it says before in this verse, in this chapter, prior, it says the Jews that were accusing Yeshua okay, how can you say that you are that you hold on just a second, yeah, that he was older than Abraham, or was before Abraham, because he said that in all truth I tell you, before Abraham was ever, I am. He was referring to the Creator, before the Creator,
I don't know what you're saying.
Okay, well,
Are you saying that Yeshua is God, the
the
creator?
Yeshua, okay, no, the Spirit, the Creator is, okay, the Creator was before, was in the times of Yeshua, and the Creator is now.
Of course.
And all of us, we are part of Him.
Yes.
So we are all are. I am. We are all part of the Creator.
Yes. And we need to reflect that and to do our best to reflect that in
Yes.
our lives.
So as he said, Yeshua said, I am in the world, I am the light of the world.
As we are supposed to be a light in the world, all of us.
So and that light means to bring the understanding.
Exactly.
To bring, because there are so many things that we have been taught about, and it's religion has twisted some words.
Yes.
And has misled us,
Yes.
way far from the principle that it was given to us from the beginning, which is to be a human that is awakened of who he is and who understands who God is and what is the purpose of his creation. And we are part of his agenda of creators,
Right.
divine.
And in order for us to know how to do that, that's why he wrote in stone these 10 commandments, so that we have a guideline, that we have so we understand what is truth, and that helps us to live it. And when a tradition, our rabbi always used to tell us, thank you, Angel. Yes. And what our rabbi used to tell us is that when a tradition takes us away from God, when it becomes more important than the commandments of God, we have to say no to them.
Because it does not come from spirit, from the Creator.
Exactly.
It comes from our brain interpretation and
exactly.
So
exactly. But it doesn't mean that we don't sit down and have a Seder at Pesach, because that's one of the things God told us. It doesn't mean that we don't celebrate Shabbat. We don't come together on Shabbat, because that's the fourth commandment. It's what we give the emphasis to. And basically, God wants us to live his commandments. So if that's all that we have to say today, thank you for being here with us. Let us continue preparing for Pesach by
There's
asking
one thing
God.
I have to say.
Okay.
Brian, you're so green, he looks again like an alien, Brian. Why is he? wearing-
Miriam, we can talk about that another
Okay.
time. Thanks. That doesn't concern our lesson.
No, because
today.
other people are gonna see.
No, it's a
Is
screen.
the lightning? Yeah, the lightning.
Yeah, Brian, you have a lot of yellow in your
Yeah, and you're
it's probably a yellow light. It's okay. You have a computer that comes from China, that's why. Anyway. Okay, so I want to wish everybody a wonderful the rest of the day for Shabbat. And remember what Rabbi always used to tell us, that for Pesach, ask God, search our hearts, know us, try us, test us, see if there's any evil way, any wicked way within us, any way that doesn't look good to God, and ask him to lead us in his way. That's the secret to good health, to happiness.
Yes, I have to say that, remember this, we are made in a wonderful and marvelous way.
Yes,
Okay.
that's what he said. Thank God
But
for that.
the Creator give us the free will to choose
Yes.
and allow us to grow.
Yes.
And if we don't choose the right, well, we will have to, restart again and until we get and learn the lesson.
Yeah, we suffer the consequences, and we can
Yeah,
only
but
blame
the
ourselves.
consequences are not for punishment, because
No.
this is another thing religion has used. You don't obey, you have consequences.
No, you have punishment. They say. The
Punishment.
Torah says there are
God-
consequences.
Not only
Listen,
religion, okay?
Yeah, God,
Religion.
it's not a vengeance God. Okay,
Neither
God
am I.
wants us to grow and
Yes, Karen, what do you want to say?
Sorry, I'm just saying that's parenting. We also have consequence.
Of course.
Yeah, but
Parenting.
where we are
We
growing,
also
Not
have
really.
what did Karen
way
say?
of growing, and you have to experience certain things, and certain things are not, very pleasurable, but you don't know them and you have to go through them. Okay.
Yeah.
But we have parents in this case will teach us and will guide us basically
Yes, exactly.
in order
That's why he is our loving Father in heaven. He's our parent. The father in the home represents God, making the father the head of the spiritual life. The mother, the fifth commandment, honor your mother and your father, that our days may be long upon this earth. Keep the commandments, keep the Shabbat, so that we can learn to trust in him, because he gave us a day and he set us free. These are wonderful, wonderful teachings. Anyway, I wish you Hag Pesach Sameach, happy Pesach, and enjoy the rest of Shabbat, and enjoy the rest of cleaning your homes if that's what you're doing. And we say to everybody, Shabbat Shalom.